Hello, my friends. Welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Amber Amrine. I am a psychic medium and Reiki master in Usui, Karuna, and Crystal Reiki. And we're going to do a get ready with me today. I'm going to do my makeup and we're going to chat about some things. So, you guys, you can see there are crutches in the distance. I was born with loose joints, so I've always had an issue with them dislocating a lot, particularly my knees, and then as I got older, it kind of started to happen sometimes to my shoulders, my elbows, my hips. Very rarely, but it happens. So if I sit on my heels, like where my heel and my butt are touching, on the ground, my knees will sometimes dislocate, the kneecap in particular. So it's almost like I don't know what happens, but it slides out of place and the ligaments kind of slide over too. When I was in middle school, I was training for the LA Marathon. I got to about 18 miles of running, and then I started having really bad knee problems. So we went to see the doctor. I try to draw a square. This is what I use. I use the perfecting tint. Because I don't like too much makeup. Just something to even me out, make me glow. My skin's also really dry, so we're just slathering this right on in. So this helps prevent any weird dryness. Anyways, so I went to see the doctor, and he told me I had this thing called Osgood-Slaughter. And what was going on is I was growing. I'm 5'9.5", so I'm fairly tall. And in middle school, I was going through a lot of growth spurts. And with such a high impact activity like running, my ligaments and tendons were already stressed because of me growing. And so running was making it far worse. And if I continued, there was a possibility that they would snap. So I had to stop, and from then on, I had very sensitive knees. I couldn't really run very much just because if I started doing things that would strain them, it would start to hurt. I'm very clumsy too, so I used to sprain my ankles. I've sprained my wrists. Ankles and wrists are really the main thing. This seems to be common for dancers. I'm a dancer. And I've never really injured myself dancing. I don't think ever. My worst injuries have just been doing stupid things like walking or running or... There was one morning I think it was in middle school too. It was either middle school or high school. I had forgotten my lunchbox at home. My grandma was outside waiting for me. She was going to drive me to school. And I ran inside. I ran inside to go get it. And I ran around. So you enter, there's like a dining room area and then the kitchen. So I entered into the living room. I ran around the dining room into the kitchen. But I took the turn too wide and I slipped and my ankle, it sounded like if you crack your knuckles. And my mom's like, "Are you okay? What just happened?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then I got up and I could not walk. So I had to go to the ER and I ended up having a sprained ankle. I've just had issues with stuff like that. Luckily, because I do dance, I have been able to really strengthen my ankles and my joints and stuff like that to prevent dislocations from happening. I'm covering all my little weird bumps. Okay. I thought I had this dislocation thing in check. It hasn't happened for probably a year and a half on my knees. So I thought, things are good. We're good to go. I did a workout yesterday. And if you're wondering, that was also glossier. Stretch Concealer. Sturdy. Just very light. It just covers enough, nothing too crazy. I have really dark circles, and I feel like when they're not there, I don't look like myself. So I like it because it freshens up my face, but you can also see that I got dark circles. It doesn't take away from my stuff. Now I just go in with a little bit of a CoverGirl powder, because this is very, very dewy, and I like it to be somewhat dewy and not very, very dewy. Anywho, so it's been a while. Yesterday I did a workout on my glutes. I stretched a little bit, and then I sat down. I was going to get started with the day ahead, and I started to stand up, and the angle that my knee was in caused it to dislocate. I went to kick it out. It didn't pop back in. It hurt so fucking bad. I tried again. I was like, okay, just take a deep breath and straighten that motherfucker. Like, let's just do it. And I yelled, and I was like, ah! I tried as hard as I could to straighten it, and it was not working, and it hurt really bad. It just kept rebounding back into a bent angle. I tried it one more time after a few minutes, and I was getting like sweaty and nauseous because it hurt so bad. And I was like, okay, let's just go to an urgent care and have them deal with it. My Uber came because I couldn't drive because it's on my right leg, and I can't straighten it. It's like stuck at a 90-degree angle. It was the sweetest little old man playing this classical music, and he's like, oh no, what's wrong with your leg? And I told him what was going on, and it's like, how are you doing? How's your day? He's like, I'm happy and I'm healthy, so nothing to complain about. It's a great day. It was so cute. So we got to the urgent care. They wheeled me in, asked what was going on, and I said, oh, my knee dislocated. It happens often. Usually I can pop it back into place and it's no problem, but this time I can't pop it in. It's not going back, and it hurts like a bitch. He's like, oh, well, we don't have strong enough narcotics here to put it back into place. It's going to be excruciating, so you have to go to the ER. I'm taking an angle brush. Now I'm going to start doing some eyeliner. I just go in with like a dark purple eyeshadow and just go. Here we go. So I Ubered to the to the ER. The doctor went to check my leg, and it seemed to be that all of the bones were in place. Nothing was dislocated. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Something's not right, because I can't straighten my leg and it hurts like a bitch. So they took an x-ray. I was waiting in the internal waiting room, and there was some crazy stuff going on. There was a guy that had gotten into a car accident. There was somebody that he was in a construction worker outfit, and his jeans were covered in blood. His arm was bandaged. It looked like he had like sawed through his arm. Somebody else came in who had just gotten into a fight. His nose was like hanging off, and his like face was all bloody. It was crazy. So all of these people were coming in, and I was just like, holy moly. This is an ER. Actually, when I first walked into the ER, there was a guy that was like, oh, I was here like last week. I had a heart attack, and whatever. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. There's something about that it's very sobering to be around that. I'm around dead people a lot, and I talk to a lot of dead people, but I feel like, I don't know, there's something about like seeing people injured, or like, it's just a weird thing that I haven't been exposed to as much. And I started thinking about that while I was in the waiting room, and I was like, do I feel any spirits here? And I was like, I feel like I'm in too much pain, so I couldn't really tune in. But it was just this interesting moment of like, life is so short, and weird things just happen all of a sudden, that just kind of fuck things up. And I opened my phone to look at Instagram. I didn't really have signal, so my screen froze at this image that said something like, don't it was just one of those things about tuning into the present, like make the most out of the present. Just be here and trust and know that, I don't know. It was one of those generic messages, but how it was written was very beautiful and put me back into the present because I started stressing out. I'm a dancer. This was yesterday. So today I was supposed to have 3 gigs. I had a triple gig day on top of clients and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, I have to make sure my knee's okay so that I can dance. On Monday I have to teach. Like there's just a lot of things lined up and I started panicking. And this message was just like, nope, just come back into the present, be grateful, be here now. And I went to, so on my subscription, I've been talking about, I've mentioned this a couple times between my podcast and my subscription, about how I feel my body's been telling me that I need to take a step back from dance stuff. I need to be more involved in this stuff. This is where my passion really lies and where I feel like there's just a lot of room for expansion. I feel like spiritual stuff is just where I need to be. And right now my time is split between the two. My boyfriend and I are in the process of opening up a coffee shop, and it's going to be like a spiritual, it's going to be a lot of things. But I'm going to be doing in-person sessions there. So I feel like in a way, the coffee shop is going to allow me to be more engaged with the community. Right now, I just do things remotely, or if I do an expo, then I'll do them in person there. But I've just been feeling this call, and I've been having these stupid little injuries come up where like spraining my toe, stubbing my toe, running and tripping, and there are things that keep happening where in tuning into my body's like, hey, we're tired and I think we don't want to be dancing right now. And I'm like, well, buddy, I think we're just going to have to do it right now, especially with the coffee shop coming. Like, let's just like get all the gigs we can. Let's just do as much as we can so that, we can really take time to focus on the coffee shop and like financially we're secure. Like, you got this. We're almost there. Once the coffee shop is going, like, we'll take a step back, but I just need you to keep going. And my body keeps saying like, I don't think I want to keep going. I think I'm good. I think let's do a break now. And I was like, no, I think we just need to wait a little bit longer. Just hang in there. So I've been having this battle with my body, which actually inspired me to try to see if there's a way I can honor my body more, work with my body more. Actually, this is funny. A few days ago, I had this idea that it would be really cool if I could somehow figure out a way to have my body more engaged with what I do per day to ensure I am utilizing my strengths and gifts to their highest potential. You know what I'm saying? Tuning into my body more, like, hey, do we want to do this today? How do you feel about this today? Like, just not being at the mercy of my body, but allowing it to have more say as to how we approach certain things. If I have a full day of like sessions and stuff, looking at my body is like, okay, where do you want to do the session? What do you want to eat? What kind of food do you need to fuel you for this? Like, what do you have to say and how can I best serve you, So then this injury happened and I was thinking about it and I was like, this feels very good timing wise. If I do need to be off of my leg for a little bit, at least like the coffee shop's coming up. I was already planning on taking a step back. Like, there's things in place to help ensure I'm good, during this time. I feel like I just need to completely trust whatever happens with this. The doctors were saying that it could be a ligament issue. I may have torn a ligament, which may require surgery. So it's like, okay, well, fuck. I'm going to definitely be off of my leg for a while. So let's just go with the flow, see what happens. I'm not sure. It could still be dislocated, and they just have to pop it in. Just be open, don't stress about the gigs you have tomorrow. Just understand that you are, everything happens for a reason. So I was going into everything from there with that perspective, and I noticed even the process at the ER was very smooth after, well, it was already smooth, but things then started wrapping up very quickly. I was told originally that it would take about 1.5 hours to 2 hours to get the results of my x-ray. So I had to wait in the waiting room for that long. And after 30 minutes, so much less time, maybe even 25, it felt very quick. They had the results of my x-ray. They called me back over. The x-ray came back normal, so it was clear that there's a ligament issue. So I have to follow up with an orthopedist to get an MRI to see what exactly is going on with my ligaments. Luckily, there's no fluid buildup. It's not swollen. It's the weirdest thing. It's not swollen. It's not bruised, but it hurts like a motherfucker, and I can't straighten it past 90 degrees. So, so she's like, okay, I'm going to be with another patient, so it's going to take me a while, so I wanted to get you in now so we can just discharge you because there's no point in you waiting. So like, thank you so much. Everybody was so nice. And my dad called me and he's like, I'm on my way. I'm going to go take you home. So we got some sandwiches and then we came back home, or he dropped me off here. So there's definitely been this thing going on lately, which I've noticed from clients of mine, where they have this inclination to do something. They begin to take the steps to do it, and then the universe is like, great, let's go all the way. For example, let's say somebody has an inclination to begin downsizing, clearing out all their stuff, just because this is a perfect example of this. Clearing out all their stuff, redesigning their space so that it feels more like them, just completely changing up their life, And then all of a sudden their house gets hit with severe water damage. A lot of their belongings are damaged and they have to move. So our environment is a deep reflection of who we are. Especially your home. There are so many different little knickknacks and memories, and there's a lot of history that is in your space. And sometimes to really align with your true purpose, you have to align to new things. And sometimes going into a new space, always, going into a new space is very beneficial at bringing about positive change. You are able to redesign your space so that it better reflects who you are and where you're going. It's like you're getting rid of all of that old baggage, symbolically and literally. You're able to try new patterns. You're exploring new places. It just changes the way we show up in the world. And it's one of the most powerful methods to quantum leap or to really manifest what you want. So that there seems to be a pattern lately where people begin to take a step in a positive direction, and then Source is like, okay, cool. We got the green light. Let's go 100%. Let's do it all. And I feel like this was an example of that, where I've been feeling like I need to step back from dance. I really just need to do what I'm here to do. And dance is a part of that, especially with performances. Like, it's entertainment. So it makes people feel good. It's like an escape, especially with the type of dance I do. I primarily right now, with the gigs I do, they're primarily in Brazilian samba, which is very community based. We're dancing with people, we're dancing at restaurants and stuff like that, and I'm getting people up and dancing. It's fun, it's very interactive. Or private parties, you're engaging with people, you're having an honest connection, and it's just a lot of fun. But I need more. And that's where my spiritual stuff comes in. And that's where I've been feeling like I'm good at dancing. I've been doing it my whole life. But I need more. And that doesn't mean I need to stop dancing. I'm never going to stop dancing. But right now, it's almost like I've reached my limit in a way in dance. In terms of the reach I can have, or the impact I can make, or something like that. And it needs to grow more. And what's going to grow that is making connections with people all over the world, having a platform where I can stay in contact with people all over the place, where we're constantly reflecting and interacting with each other, whether it be through sessions or through videos or through the podcast, whatever. So the timing is very particular. With the coffee shop coming up, I was a little bit worried. I'm trying to put out more content. There's been a lot of change the past year, and I'm really trying to now focus, or I'm not trying, I am really now focusing on this stuff, and to continue that, I need time. And with opening up a new business, time again is going to be very tight. And I have a bad habit of overworking myself and making time very tight. So that's been something I've been trying to. It's not in alignment with me, and it's something I've been getting rid of. There's no need to partake in hustle culture. Sure, work hard. I love being immersed in different things and like being active. It makes me feel good to be in action doing stuff. But you need a balance, especially I'm an empath. I'm very sensitive to energy. I get drained very quickly. I also have PTSD and CPTSD. So I'm already usually a bit hypervigilant. So my body is very sensitive, and it's almost like I have those things in place because I'm supposed to find a balance. I have to find a balance. Otherwise, I will completely exhaust myself. And right now, I'm very passionate about my mission and my place in the collective awakening right now. So I have to really make sure I'm good. And I need to focus on this stuff to get stuff out. I just need to get stuff out. And so now that I am injured and potentially may need surgery, it's going to give me more time to focus on filming, editing, doing sessions, stuff like that. So I know that it is divinely guided. I'm trying to stay positive. The pain is annoying. I hate crutches. Usually I'm used to hurting my ankles so that I could just crawl around, but my knee's injured so I can't crawl. So I'm scooting everywhere. Hopping hurts. It's just weird, and I'm trying not to let the frustration and the pain get to me. It's on my right leg, so I can't drive. We are having a hurricane coming in to Los Angeles this weekend, so it's probably also a good thing that I'm not out driving, because we don't get hurricanes out here, so I don't know what is going to happen. My friend was getting alerts on her phone saying, prepare for loss of life and, severe damage. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that dramatic, but I also feel like everybody out here is we don't know this. We know earthquakes, so everything else is whatever. So I'm not sure. It'll be very interesting. But I feel like it's good that I am kind of stuck at home so I could get some stuff done, so I could make this, and just connect with people, you know. Oh, I've tried this. So I usually just use this like CoverGirl blush. I'm very simple with makeup. I do not get fancy stuff. But I had this gig, and the girl had gotten this little pigment in, I don't know, in one of those like little Ipsy things or something. Is that what it's called? I don't know. And it didn't work for her, so she gave it to me, and I really like it. I just started using it the other day. I was watching a video, and I think you're supposed to put this on before you put any like powder on, so I probably should have put this on a long time ago, but it's okay. I didn't put too much powder on. And I don't really honestly know. I just kind of wing things. So I just put it on like freckles. Basically, this whole long story was just to say, oftentimes when you just trust the process, you just make the most out of everything, you know? It really just, I feel like, obviously, like attracts like, so when you act in collaboration with your environment, things will naturally unfold fairly quickly. And for those that have been around for a bit, you know how much I've been experimenting the past year, just really playing with the idea of surrender and just seeing like, if I really devote myself to this idea of like just trusting that the universe has my back, if I really just surrender to it, what's gonna happen? You know, because we hear about like, oh yeah, just trust, but it's like, okay, actually trusting is a whole other thing. So if I actually do that, what will the results be? I'm gonna put some on my nose. Give myself a pink. Like I'm sunburned. What's actually gonna happen? And I've been seeing nothing but positive results. Even though my head keeps coming or getting in the way, I'm putting a little bit of highlighter. Even though my head keeps getting in the way, and I keep coming back to moments like this one with my knee, where it's like, you don't really have a choice but to trust right now. I mean, you can either just be miserable and be depressed and be like, oh no, I can't dance right now, blah, blah, blah. Poor me, you know, put myself in a victim state, which doesn't feel good and doesn't help foster any kind of growth. Or I can be like, okay, cool. I've been feeling a certain message for a while, and I started taking steps to honor that, and I should have surrendered a little bit more. And here the universe is coming in to swoop me up and help me surrender more so that I can actually focus on what my purpose is, what is in my best interest, what is in alignment with me. You know, I can really stand into my highest self, because now is the time to do that. And I've been asking for that for a while, and I've been making steps to do that, and I've been calling that in for a long time. So if some sort of big thing happens right now, me working in opposition to it, whether in my perspective, emotionally, or, you know, whatever, is not going to aid my expansion forward. Most of the time, the biggest moments of transformation happen during weird freak accidents. You know, most stories, if not all, I don't want to say all, because obviously there could be exceptions. I haven't heard every story, but most stories about big life-changing events that may seem negative end up having, there's always a positive to it. There's always some sort of outcome that allows somebody to really embrace who they are, you know? So obviously this isn't that crazy. I think for me, because I'm a dancer, any kind of injury can feel very like, it's the end of the world. But I know I'm healthy, things are fine. This could potentially, actually, interesting story. So my dad had a stroke when he was 7, which resulted in severe scoliosis at the bottom of his spine. It affected his development, so the left side of his body is a little bit smaller than his right side, so he limps. He, in December, had a freak accident at work where he fell, he fractured his hip, and he needed emergency hip surgery. What was cool about that is they were able to add some length to it was his little leg that he had injured. So not only were they able to add some length to his little leg, but with physical therapy, he was also able to strengthen that leg in a way that he was never able to previously. So though it was and also he moved into my grandparents' house because he lives by himself, and he lived on the second story of an apartment building that didn't have a elevator. So he couldn't go up the stairs for months, because of his hip, and also, again, it's his small leg, so it just makes things complicated. So he moved in with my grandparents. My grandpa is dying right now, so he is there to support my grandma. So they're all together. He's being taken care of. He doesn't have to pay rent, so he can save up some money. His cat's there, who's very social. I did a podcast episode channeling her, but she was just by herself for so long, and now she's around people all the time. And it's just, everything has been such a blessing. I'm able to see my dad because I go to my grandparents once a week to help them and to do laundry and stuff. So now I see my dad once a week. I'm seeing him more often. Before it was like once every few months or so. And it's just been such a blessing. So implementing that with this kind of situation, I think I just wanted to really express that sometimes things happen and sometimes they really suck, and it may not be clear why they're happening. But if you allow yourself to extract the lessons and the opportunities for expansion that they offer, it makes everything feel a lot more effortless, and you call in more opportunity for expansion and growth. I'm trying to use this as a method of reset. It's almost like if you are out of a long-term relationship or something, there's something beautiful about breakups where you feel it's just as like a fresh start, you come back into yourself, you learn about yourself, you prioritize yourself in ways that perhaps you were neglecting yourself before. You're able to come into yourself more wholly than you were previously. Like, it's just a really beautiful new beginning. And I'm trying to apply that to this situation. And already I'm feeling so much power behind it. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, if you need to cry or get stuff out, go for it. You don't want to neglect any of those feelings. If I have to get surgery, I don't know how long I'm going to be out of dance for, and there's definitely going to be a mourning process there. But I think I don't know. Making the most out of situations is just very beneficial, and I feel kind of silly because this feels like really dramatic, like, oh, I just tweaked my knee, it's like surgery is it's not a big deal. This is not a big deal, and I feel like, let me make this video, like, it just feels so dramatic, and I don't mean it to be. I just think there's a lot of power in allowing situations to boost you forward rather than feeling at the mercy of them or as a victim to them, I just wanted to say that I love you and I appreciate you, and whatever you're going through, you got this. You have the tools you need. You have the knowledge you need, the wisdom you need. There are guides always around you. Nothing just happens. I'm definitely a believer that everything happens for a reason, and I feel like when we find purpose in it, we are able to move through it a lot easier and make the most out of it. So I invite you to just have a little bit more gratitude today, feel a little bit more loved, spread a little bit more love. I'm sending you a little bit more love. yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for getting ready with me and listening to me talk. All right, friends. I'll see you soon. I'll see you very soon because I will be here not doing anything. So, goodbye.